Hello, music lovers near and far. I'm Charlotte McLean, coordinator of the Basalt Regional Library music programs. This is the third of our concerts that are being broadcast to you through GrassRoots TV, and a series that is entitled Music from the Library. No more music in the library, but from the library. This show is entitled Broadway to Jazz, and is intended to satisfy the palates of all of you Broadway musical lovers. And we're going to sprinkle it with jazz. All of this is intended to brighten your Thanksgiving holiday. As you know, many of your concerts and many of your pieces that you hear from the 30s and 40s were jazz songs that were originally written for the Broadway musicals. And when you say Broadway musicals, the names of local musicians, Cathy, Markle, David Dyer, Mike Monroney, Steve Cole, they must pop right into your mind because they for years have shared their talents with you from the stage and from the pits, performing musicals from Broadway. In this concert, Cathy and Mike, vocalists, will be accompanied by David Dyer at the piano and Steve Cole, instrumentalist, in selections such as Let's Call the Whole Thing Off, Begin the Biggie, and many more Broadway and jazz classics. Let's let the curtain rise and the songs begin.
My story is much too sad to be told, but practically everything leaves me totally cold. Oh boy, does it ever. My goodness. That's really square, guys, isn't it? It might have been great when Ethel Merman first sang it in the show Anything Goes on Broadway in 1934, but we think that it did a little better as the years went by. I get no kick from champagne. Mere alcohol doesn't thrill me at all. So tell me, why should it be true that I get a kick out of you? Some get a kick from cocaine. I'm sure that if I took even one sniff, that would bore me terrifically too. I get a kick out of you. I get a kick every time I see
So this next song comes from a really interesting show called The Threepenny Opera, which was actually written by Kurt Weill and Bertolt Brecht, and it was about the late 1920s in Berlin, but they used a show, an opera actually, from the 1700s called The Beggar's Opera as the blueprint for this. And the show has a lot in common with cabaret in that it's designed to throw a light on the corruption and the social unrest and structure in Berlin at the end of the 1920s. A lot like cabaret did about a period just a few years later. But it's set in England so that it's not obvious and they don't get in too much trouble. A lot of you are going to know this song. Bobby Darin made a huge hit out of it, sold over 2 million copies. What an interesting career he had. He grew up with a woman he thought was his mother, but who was actually his grandmother, with a sister who was actually his mother. He found this all later. He died at the age of 37 during heart surgery in the 1970s. So Bobby Darin was a huge hit in popular music, as a rock star, as a jazz artist, and later on even a little bit of country. So Mac the Knife. Oh, the shark has pretty teeth, dear, and he shows them pearly white. Just a jackknife has old McKeith, dear, but he keeps it out of sight. When the shark bites with his teeth, dear, scarlet billows start to spread. Oh, but fancy gloves, though, has McKeith, babe. So there's never a trace of red. Okay, let's listen to these lyrics for a moment, because the genius of this song, I think, is that it's so bouncy and fun and lively. It was a huge hit, but it's actually talking about a serial murderer, rapist, career criminal. So try to ignore the lyrics as we go on, but just remember where the genesis of the song comes from. On the corner, Sunday morning, ooh, lies a body, and it's just oozing live. Eek! Someone sneaking around the corner. Could that someone be old Mac the Knife? There's a tugboat down by the river, don't you know, with cement bags, ooh, just dropping down. The cement's just, oh, it's just for the weight, babe. 5 will get you 10. Old Mac is back in town. Do you remember Louis Miller? Well, he's disappeared, babe. After drawing out from the bank all his hard-earned cash, now he spends just like a sailor. Could it be that our boy done something really rash? Jenny Diver, old Suki Tawdry, and Lotta Lenya, that's Mrs. Kurt Weill, and old Lucy Brown. Oh, the line forms off to the right, babe. Now that Mackie's back in town. Oh, the line forms off to the right, babe. Now that Mackie's back in town. Look out, old Mac is back.
The musical Seven Lively Arts opened at the Ziegfeld Theater on Broadway on December 7th, 1944. Many jazz singers made this song famous, like Coltrane, Sarah Vaughan, and Ray Charles, but Ella Fitzgerald is considered to have the most masterful interpretation. Anyhow, Cole Porter wrote in a musical joke to this song, which is referring to a chord change that goes from minor to major in opposition to the lyric, which I sing, that goes from major to minor. Every time we say goodbye, I die a little. Every time we say goodbye, I wonder why a little, why the gods above me, who must be in the know, think so little of me, they allow you to go. When you're near, there's such an air of spring about it. I can hear a lark somewhere begin to sing about it. There's no love song finer, but how strange the change from major to minor every time we say goodbye. Steve Cole, ladies and gentlemen. Every time we say goodbye, I die a little. Every time we say goodbye, I wonder why a little, why the gods above me, who must be in the know, think so little of me, they allow you to go. When you're near, there's such an air of spring about it. I can hear a lark somewhere begin to sing about it. There's no love song finer, but how strange the change from major to minor every time we say goodbye. Every time we say goodbye.
This next song is from a musical called On the Town that was actually first opened in the same year the last song, 1944. On the Town was a Leonard Bernstein musical. And in the show, there are three sailors that get a 24-hour pass in New York City. And basically everything you can imagine happens to them in those 24 hours. And one manages to fall in love, but of course it's doomed. And this song reflects the emotion of the two people who've just spent this time together and now they're about to be separated. Since the show, however, and since various reiterations of the show, it's become quite a popular standard, and it, out of context, actually takes on, I think, a lot more meaning than it even has within the show. Where has the time all gone to? Haven't done half the things we want to. Oh well, we'll catch up some other time. This day was just a token. Too many words are still unspoken. Oh well, we'll catch up some other time. Just when the fun is starting, comes the time for parting. But let's be glad for what we've had and what's to come. There's so much more embracing still to be had, but time is racing. Oh well, we'll catch up some other time. Just when the fun is starting, comes the time for parting. But let's be glad for what we've had and what's to come. There's so much more embracing still to be done. The time is racing. Oh well, we'll catch up some other time. Oh well, we'll catch up some other time, some other time.
Here's a classic jazz tune from the movie Sophisticated Ladies that you'll probably recognize. Song about a very sophisticated lady. Cigarette holder, which wigs me over her shoulder. She digs me, loud cat, that satin doll. Now, baby, shall we go out skipping? Careful, amigo, you're flipping. Speaks Latin, that satin doll. Well, she's nobody's fool, but I'm playing it cool as can be. Well, I'll give it a whirl, but I ain't for no girl catching me. Doodle-dyer, telephone numbers. Well, you know, doing my rumbas with Uno and that and my satin doll. Mr. David Dyer on the piano. She's nobody's fool, but I'm playing it cool as can be. Well, I'll give it a whirl, but I ain't for no girl texting me. Telephone numbers, well, you know, doing my rumbas with Uno and that and my satin doll. And that my satin doll.
This next song is written by the Gershwin brothers, and it was a wonderful comparison of upper crust dialogue versus lower crust dialect. And it was written for the 1937 film, Shall We Dance? And you might remember that there was a wonderfully famous dance sequence that was done by Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers on roller skates. I do want to say that in this rendition, we will not be wearing roller skates.
David,
Here we go.
we planned it.
Well, I just had my hip replaced. So here we go. Let's call the whole thing off. You say either, and I say either. You say neither, and I say neither.
Either,
Either,
neither.
neither. Let's call the whole thing off. You like potato, and I like potato. You like tomato, and I like tomato.
Potato,
Potato,
tomato.
tomato. Let's call the whole thing off. But oh, if we call the whole thing off, then we must part.
And
Oh, if we ever part, then that would break my heart. So if you like pajamas, and I like pajamas,
I'll wear pajamas and give up pajamas.
for we know we need each other, so we better call the calling off. Let's call the whole thing off. You say laughter, and I say laughter. You say after, and I say after.
Laughter,
Laughter,
after.
after. Let's call the whole thing off. You like vanilla, and I like vanilla. You sarsaparilla, I sarsaparilla.
Vanilla.
Vanilla.
Chocolate.
Strawberry, let's call the whole thing off. But oh, if we call the whole thing off, then we must part. And oh, if we ever part, then that might break my heart. So if you go for oysters and I go for oysters, I'll order oysters and cancel the oysters. For we know we need each other, so we better call the calling off. Oh, oh, let's call it off. Let's call the whole thing off.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, a very special musical treat, a medley of Gershwin tunes designed and performed by Mr. David Dyer. Begin is a dance that was created in the 1930s on the Caribbean islands of Martinique and Guadeloupe. You will hear that the music in the dance is spirited but slow, a close dance with a roll of the hips. And it goes like this. Forward, side, together, back, side, together. Forward, side, together, back, side, together. You see, your hips have to move. Cole Porter, it seems like all I do is Cole Porter. Did I just walk out of the camera? I'm so sorry. Cole Porter composed this song in 1935 for the musical Jubilee, and just 3 years later, Artie Shaw's instrumental version hit #1 on the charts. Jazz trumpeter Harry James, who had just struck out on his own from Benny Goodman's orchestra, heard a 24-year-old unknown named Frank Sinatra sing this in a New Jersey roadhouse and offered him the job as lead male vocalist for his new band. When they begin the begin, it brings back the sound of music so tender. It brings back a night of tropical splendor. It brings back a memory evergreen. I'm with you once more under the stars, and down by the shore an orchestra's playing, and even the palms seem to be swaying when they begin the begin. To live it again is past all endeavor, except when that tune clutches my heart, and there we are swearing to love forever and promising never, never to part. What moments divine, what rapture serene, till clouds came along to disperse the joys we had tasted. And now when I hear people curse the chance that was wasted, I know but too well what they mean. So don't let them begin the begin. Let the love that was once a fire remain an ember. Let it sleep like the dead desire. to me once more, darling, I love you. When they begin, the begin. When they begin, the begin. When they
This next song is very near and dear to my heart. It's from a show you can't really actually do anymore called Finian's Rainbow, which involves a leprechaun and his daughter, and they're in the deep south, and there's racism and love, and there are people in blackface. So you really can't do this anymore. But the song is that Old Devil Moon from the show Finian's Rainbow. It's the first musical I was ever in, although I did not sing the song. But it's also the song that I auditioned with to get my first paying acting gig at the ripe old age of 19 years old. I look at you and suddenly something in your eyes I see soon begins bewitching me. It's that old devil moon that you stole from the sky. It's that old devil moon in your eye. You and your glance make this romance too hard to handle. Stars in the night blazing their light can't hold a candle to your razzle-dazzle. You got me flying high and wide on a magic carpet ride full of butterflies inside. Wanna cry, wanna croon, wanna laugh like a loon. It's that old devil moon in your eyes. Just when I think I'm free as a dove, old devil moon deep in your eyes blinds me with love. You and your glance make this romance too hard to handle. Stars in the night blazing their light can't hold the candle to your razzle-dazzle. You got me flying high and wide on a magic carpet ride full of butterflies inside. Wanna cry, wanna croon, wanna laugh like a loon. It's that old devil moon in your eye. Just when I think I'm free as a dove, old devil moon deep in your eyes blinds me with love.
It's the wrong time and the wrong place. Though your face is charming, it's the wrong face. It's not his face, but so such a charming face that it's all right with me. It's the wrong game with the wrong chips. Though your lips are tempting, they're the wrong lips. They're not his lips, but they're such tempting lips that if some night you're free, you can't know how happy I am that we met. I'm strangely attracted to you. There's someone I'm trying so hard to forget. Don't you want to forget someone too? It's the wrong game in the wrong style. Though your face is lovely, it's the wrong smile. It's not his smile, but such a lovely smile that it's all right with me. You can't know how happy I am that we met. I'm strangely attracted to you. There's someone I'm trying so hard to forget. Don't you want to forget someone too? It's the wrong game with the wrong chips. Though your lips are tempting, they're the wrong lips. They're not his lips, but they're such tempting lips that if some night you're free, dear, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right with me. There are guys just right for the kissing, and I mean to kiss me a few. Oh, those guys don't know what they're missing. I've got a lot of living to do.
And there's wine just right for the tasting. And there's fancy cars all shiny and new. I gotta move, 'cause time is a-wasting. There's such a lot of living to do. There's music to play, places to go, people to see. Everything for you and me. Life's a ball.
Life's a ball.
If only you know it.
And it's all just waiting for you.
You're alive, so come on and show it. There's such a lot of living to do. There's music to play, people to see. Everything for you and me. Life's a ball.
Life's a ball.
If only you know
You better
it.
know it, and it's all.
Yes, it's all.
Just waiting for you.
You're alive, so come on and show it. There's such a lot of living to do. So live it up,
Laugh it up.
love it up.
Don't give up. Don't sit back and wait for it.
You gotta put out your bait for it. You never wanna be too late for it. Heed the call, you all love some more. If only you know it.
And it's all just waiting for you.
You're alive, so come on and show it. There's such a lot of singing, such a large amount of swinging. There's such a lot of thrilling living left to do.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us tonight. And let's hear a big round of applause for Steve Cole, David Dyer, Mike Monroney, and I'm Cathy Markle. And we'd like to give a really big thank you to the Basalt Library and to Charlotte McLean, the music coordinator, who made all of this possible. And a very special thanks to GrassRoots TV for letting us bring this to you in your own homes right now. So thanks again and good night.